Hey, it's a happy Tuesday, right? It is because we have Red Sox Now off-season editions, and we'll keep doing this. We'll see how long we'll do it in the off-season, but it seems like all of you guys and gals do like it. So thanks for tuning in. We're over 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy. It's great. YouTube growth is not easy, and thanks to all of you, of course, and the gang at Fan Arch for supporting this and so many. So uh, we'll have fun. I want to have fun, loose. I think we do that anyways. And interesting little show that I'll do today. But make sure uh, before I get going, I can't get going unless you subscribe. So you subscribe. All right, you did. Now let's go. Pretty cool playoffs. If you've been watching, the Dodgers were able to hold on last night. That was a thrilling game. I was able to watch the end of it. It was a thrilling Monday night football game. I was texting one of my buddies, and I said, I don't believe in the Jaguars unless they win a big boy game. And they did. They beat the Chiefs. That was two back-to-back uh, game enders right at the end on prime time with Sunday night, the Patriots and then the Jags. Boy, what a crazy 5 weeks in the NFL. Just like, how the end of the baseball season was too. But the Phillies scored three times over the last two innings. The Dodgers just used one inning. You see things are much tighter in the playoffs, right? Doesn't matter the lineups. These lineups are great, but these are the kind of games you see in postseason, right? This is what you built on pitching. Philly starter Luzardo, we know him. He was good, and you see why Blake Snell sticks around. He went 6. He has looked so good since he's gotten off the injured list. Struck out 9, gave up 1 hit, and some key. What a great defensive play by Mookie, holding the bag at third on that force out on that bump by Schwarber. But a great game. And, the Brewers have, I think this happens when the team is the best in baseball. We just don't think it will continue. I think it's human nature. I think we all do that. And Milwaukee has dominated the Brewers in the first two games, and nothing is showing us that they're not good enough. And I bet a lot of people wouldn't love their lineup, right? I mean, we like Torrio, but Turang, he's good. Good second. Contreras, Yelich. They picked up Vaughn, Frelick, Durbin, Perkins, and Ortiz. Those are a lot of names people don't know. But, man, can they pitch. They took Ashby out, and their bullpen went 7 1/3 and gave up a hit. Just amazing. It was some kind of record I saw. First time that's happened. To go scoreless and win a game like that and have that many strikeouts. They are amazing, and those teams are one game away. That will go back to the other teams. Cubs and Dodgers will host on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the big day. The Cubs, all the games potentially. Toronto, New York could end tonight. It's just AL tonight. Seattle at Detroit at 4:08. And then Toronto at New York is at 8:08. Good stuff. So somebody asked me about this because I had talked about this in the comments about I would share my pandemic story and how I ended up back here in Massachusetts. So, I don't usually will do this, but, I had thrown out there kind of as a joke. Maybe I'll tell the story. So the off season, I think, is the best time to do that. So I lived here my first 23 years, grew up in Ashland. I got a gig doing Legion Baseball in Milford, Mass., made tapes off that. Got an internship in Virginia for $600 a month. Drove down there, picked up because this is what I wanted to do. And then just stayed in baseball as a lead play-by-play guy for 29 years now. Got to Portland in '05, and I was always in touch with the Pawtucket people, and it never made sense to actually go there. This is crazy. I go to Los Angeles because that's a place I love. 2020, February. The day I got home is when that whole Kobe stuff happened because I was sleeping all day and my phone was going off, and they're like, "You still in?" And I had just been in Malibu. That was crazy. And I was actually reading about COVID. The LA Times did a story. I wish I could find this. I probably could. There was a front page story about how this COVID is going to be serious. So anyway, fast forward, the Pawtucket people reach out to me, and I think on Valentine's Day is when they said, "Hey, we want you to come be our broadcaster. You'll be part time, and then next year when we move to Worcester, you're full time." Dream. Peace out, Portland. Nah, no. It was very sad. My last day there was very sad because I had been there 15 years. So the day I'm moving back here, I had movers come here. Some stuff was shut down in Maine. I know the Sea Dogs had shut down some stuff. I'm sitting at an IHOP in Biddeford, Maine, getting ready to drive here to Grafton. And I'm on Twitter, and it says, "Oh, spring training is shut down." Oh, that's great. So I had to text WEEI because I was on a flight. I was going to fly the next day to Florida. They were going to have me do a week worth of big league games on the radio. So I lost that. I was also scheduled to do a couple of BC baseball games. That was not happening anymore, which is fine. I mean, there were worse things that happened. But as the movers were putting their stuff here in my apartment, it's when the world officially shut down, and I'm like thinking they're going to leave, but they didn't. And my first day back in Mass was chaotic. Going to the grocery store, it was chaotic. It was weird. Just fast forward, Dr. Charles Steinberg, Larry Lucchino decided to make McCoy Stadium dining on the diamond. It was months of meetings. What are we going? Well, not months. It was. It felt like it. It was a lot of planning. We thought about doing movies, and then we came up with the idea, and we worked as waiters, and we set up tables on the outfield grass for a while, and we did different times, and that's what I did, and it was fun. It was work, and then the Red Sox put extra players at McCoy, and they played games, and we broadcasted those on social media. So that was my pandemic. And then they couldn't pay us after some of us that were part-time. I was a seasonal, whatever it was. So then I had to find a job. So I was bagging groceries at Wegmans. I applied for a job at Framingham State. I got that. I couldn't be the Woo Sox wanted me to still stay part-time, which I didn't want to do. Do all the games part-time, which I couldn't do. Money-wise. So I adjusted, and full-time job, and I just do home games. It all worked out. But it was kind of a crazy couple of months. But again, it's not that, it wasn't bad, considering that a lot of people lost, people died, and people lost jobs that they never got back. It was harder, and it was great for me to come back home and spend more time. And then it all led to all of this, right? If I wouldn't be doing this if I was working in baseball full time, because there's no way I'd be able to follow the Red Sox like I can now. So it all leads back to that, and it's great, of course, to be here. So that's the story. I was in the 50th season of the Pawtucket Red Sox. I was one of their final broadcasters with no season, so I guess I can say that. The Arizona Fall League. That, I think, is fun. If you are out there, you should go. It already started. It'll go to November 12th. The Red Sox have some guys. They are with the Salt River team. What they do is they combined. This is really cool. Will Middlebrooks talked about this on the broadcast, and I remember this. Will played in the Fall League, and his team was insane. It was Brandon Crawford, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout. It was managed by Arnie Baylor. I remember when Arnie was a minor league manager and I was with him, he was telling me about this team, and I'm like, oh, my God. So they combined like 5 affiliations. So the Red Sox are with the Diamondbacks, Rockies, Angels, and Pirates. And they have coaches and training staff from each organization. It's pretty cool. And and then they just, it's not many teams. They just combine everything. 6 teams of 5 affiliates. Perfect. And I think it's a lot of fun. Some of the guys that I'm looking forward to, Brandon Neely, the pitchers, that's something that I'm really, the Passwords brothers playing. So I would check that out. That is certainly, it's a lot of fun. I would check that out. Let's get to some comments before we head out. We will, the rest of the week, I'll break down some of the comments from the season-ending press conference that the Sox did with Breslow, Sam Kennedy, and Alex Cora. I made a lot of notes. I thought it was good stuff, and we'll get to that during the week. All right, at the Fortnight. I really like the idea of Schwarber, but we'll see. Anthony's already a high OBP with power leading leadoff hitter. Yeah, but he doesn't have to lead off. I don't think Schwarber would lead off. If you went Schwarber, if you went Anthony, Bregman, Schwarber, and Story, it's pretty good, right? And if you keep, I don't know what you do with it. If you keep Yoshida or Abreu, that's a pretty good 4. At Robert-U3X1K, I'm not going to give up on Casas. You have to have a backup plan. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's too early to determine, a lot of things. He's recovering. We'll see how. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he plays any winter ball. I don't know. I don't know if he'll do anything. He might. That might be. I doubt it, but could be an option or something. At Tony Pazzaretti, been a fan more than 60 years. Losing Devers killed the power aspect. A lot of people are saying this after the Anthony injury, though. I didn't get any of these comments when Anthony was healthy. I didn't. It's all happened. It's the lasting impression of the team. The power thing has been a talk of, but I still think that's more correlated to, you lost your best hitter. If the Milwaukee loses Jackson Chourio, we'll see how good they are. As a fan of Giants, I loved adding a terrific hitter. Lastly, I would trade Abreu before dealing Duran. Obviously, others disagree. Yeah, I think we forget. Cora talked about this yesterday. Abreu and Rafael are in their second. That was their second full years. How was Duran doing right away? He wasn't great. He had 215 his first year with the Red Sox, right? And then he got better. 2021 limited games, 215, 2022, 221. What did most people, they wanted him out of here, right? He was 25. Abreu's 26. Rafael is 25. So I don't know. 2 full years to me is not a decision to get. Did Abreu improve this year? He got hurt too, right? He might have hit 30 home runs. Who knows? Or, right? I mean, we don't know. He could have at least 25, 26. I mean, if he hits 30 home runs and Anthony plays the rest of the year, there's so much more we wouldn't be talking about. So, I'm not ready to give up on those two. They're Gold Glovers. 2 years into the big leagues is not a time that you cut the cord. But you might get more, and depending, Breslow talked about this. We make a lot of trades based on what we think, on our guys, but we have no idea what other teams like. Think about the shift in how you think about Tolley and Early. All I got from months was Tolley. Just because he was the top prospect. Nobody ever talked about Connolly Early on this program with the comments. I didn't either. We didn't know who he was. I knew he was a prospect, but Tolley was number 1. No, we're not trading him. And we find out that most of the teams wanted Connolly Early, right? Maybe Arizona was right at the deadline. That's the guy they liked more than Tolley. And a lot of people, including many beat writers, said they should have traded him for Merrill Kelly for a rental. Now, how are you feeling about that? I was somewhat okay with it. I would have been wrong. Right? I mean, things change ever, so quickly with all these guys. Now, would I be open to trading those two for Joe Ryan? Yeah, absolutely. Probably Tolley. I don't know. You're not getting Joe Ryan for Duran. All right, it's still going to cost you because they can control them, and they know you want them. And then now they know. And again, see how things change. You got to remember how an opposing GM will trade with you. Well, I mean, you're not keeping Giolito. Bayo looked terrible. I mean, that's how they're going to approach it. You guys need a number two. It's amazing how some of your own guys, performances affect when you go out and get players. It really does. So it's going to be fun, though. They have so many guys, especially starting pitchers. I mean, they could move on and not make any moves and could be okay, right? If Crochet, if they still felt Bayo was a 2 in early and Dobbins and maybe somebody, they could stand pat. I don't think they will. I think they'll do what they think is best. But you bring in, if you trade for Joe Ryan and you have this surplus of pitching, that could help you get a bat we're not even thinking about right now. All right, we'll let that seep in, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed the program, enjoyed the playoffs tonight. We're all rooting for Toronto, right? You want them to knock off the Yankees. It's in Yankee Stadium. It should be fun. Thanks for watching Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch, and as always, go Sox.